Question number 156. During conversion of proinsulin to insulin, that is, during the conversion of immature proinsulin to mature insulin, what happens? The very first option given is A and B chains are joined by disulfide linkages to form one single polypeptide, and this is an incorrect option because as you can see here, this proinsulin, which consists of chain A, chain B and chain C, followed by the excision of chain C, will form two polypeptides in this mature insulin form comprising chain A and chain B. The second option given is C peptide is removed, and this is a correct option and is a correct answer to our question. The third option given is C peptide is added to chain B, and this is an incorrect option. The last option given is rearrangement in position of A, B and C chains is observed, and this is also an incorrect option. So the correct answer for this question is option number 2. Let's discuss our next question. Question number 157. Read the following statement and select the correct option. And the very first statement given is, in blue-white colony selection, recombinants produce blue colonies due to insertional inactivation of alpha-galactosidase. And this is an incorrect statement because during this blue-white selection procedure, the recombinants will produce white colonies and not blue colonies due to insertional inactivation of beta-galactosidase rather than alpha-galactosidase. As you can see here, this plasmid, when ligated with foreign DNA, it will lead to either the insertional inactivation of this LegZ gene, or this insertion could be outside the LegZ gene, or there is no insertion at all in this vector. And when this plasmid is transformed into the host cell, this transformer will produce white colonies as it has the recombinant plasmid. So this means recombinant will produce white colonies. On the other hand, as this recombinant doesn't lead to insertion inactivation of this LegZ gene, so there would be production of blue colonies, and in this last case, as there is no insertion, there will be no formation of recombinants and this will produce blue colonies. This means recombinants will produce white colonies, non-recombinants will produce blue colonies, and the insertion inactivation will be at the site of beta-galactosidase rather than alpha-galactosidase. The second statement is, transformants produced during genetic engineering include both recombinant and non-recombinant, and this is a correct statement. As you can see here, after transformation, there could be recombinant or non-recombinant. Now let's discuss the options. The very first option given is, both statements are correct. This is an incorrect option. Only statement 1 is incorrect. This is a correct option and is a correct answer to our question. Only statement 2 is incorrect. This is an incorrect option, and both statements are incorrect is also an incorrect option. So the correct answer for this question is option number 2. Let's discuss our next question. Question number 158. Toxin present in Bt cotton in form of protoxin gets converted into active toxin by, and we know that it is the alkaline pH present in the midgut insects which convert protoxin to toxin, which is Bt toxin. And it is this active toxin which damages the epithelial lining of insect's gut and creates pores that causes swelling and lysis and eventually the death of that insect. And now it is this active toxin which damages the epithelial lining of insect's gut and create pores that causes swelling and lysis and eventually causes death of insect. So the very first option given is, action of saliva of insect is an incorrect option. Then alkali pH in gut of insect is a correct option and is a correct answer to our question. Acidic pH in gut of insect is an incorrect option, and action of microorganisms in gut of insect is also an incorrect option because it is the alkaline pH in the midgut of insects which will lead to the conversion of this protoxin into active Bt toxin. So the correct answer is option number 2. Let's discuss our next question. Question number 159. Mark the correct statement regarding gel electrophoresis. And the very first option given is, DNA fragments are separated on the basis of size and charge. And this is an incorrect statement because DNA fragments are separated on the basis of size and configuration and not charge. So size is fine but not on the basis of charge. The next statement is, smaller the DNA fragment, farther it moves for anode. And this is an incorrect statement because in gel electrophoresis, we load our DNA samples cathode, and this DNA being negatively charged will move towards anode. And smaller the fragment, closer it will be to the anode, whereas larger the fragment, it will be closer to cathode. So this is an incorrect statement. Our next statement is, most commonly used matrix for DNA electrophoresis is agar, which is isolated from seaweeds, and this is also an incorrect statement because the most common matrix for DNA electrophoresis is not agar but agarose. Our last statement is, larger DNA fragments remain close to the wells or cathode, and this is a correct statement and is a correct answer to our question because larger fragments face more resistance while moving in the matrix of this agarose gel, and they'll remain close to cathode rather than anode. So the correct answer for this question is option number 4. Let's discuss our next question. Question number 160. Fetal alcoholic syndrome is caused due to chronic intake of, and the chronic intake of alcohol during pregnancy causes fetal alcoholic syndrome, which includes facial changes, deformity in concha, defects in atria and ventricles in heart. So the chronic intake of alcohol, this means option number 1 and option number 2 cannot be the correct answers. Cocaine is a stimulant and its consumption doesn't lead to this fetal alcoholic syndrome. Opium is an opiate narcotics, it's an analgesic, and its chronic intake will not lead to fetal alcoholic syndrome, whereas on the other hand, it is the consumption of alcohol which will lead to this syndrome. In between option number 3 and 4, it is option number 3 which is the correct answer to our question, which means chronic intake of ethanol will lead to fetal alcoholic syndrome. On the other hand, methanol is poisonous and is not consumed as alcoholic beverage is an incorrect option. So the correct answer for this question is option number 3. Let's proceed to the next question.